Train travel in Europe. It's one of the most convenient and affordable ways to get around this amazing continent. However, sometimes there are complications, and these complications can turn a smooth travel day into an endless nightmare. Hey everyone, it's Max here for Max Sid, and I'm about to tell you how you can avoid terrible train travel experiences if you are traveling in Europe this summer. So Sydney and I have been traveling through Europe for 6 whole months now while documenting our experiences on YouTube. We have been on over 30 regional and international train rides this year, and we have learned a lot about how to avoid complications. Our first tip for you is to book your train tickets as soon as your plans are set. Ticket prices can go up even after a few days of waiting because the prices are usually set by demand. Also, and even more importantly, you're going to avoid the bigger headache of all of the available tickets selling out and having to make other arrangements. Train travel is much more common here in Europe than in the US. European cities have better and much more plentiful connections by rail, but this also means that more people are buying tickets. It is certainly not unheard of for a train to get completely booked up, especially now that tourism is starting to pick up again. Obviously, every train service in every country is just a little bit different, which can make the booking process really confusing sometimes. We have found the Omio app to be extremely useful. They're not a sponsor or anything, maybe someday, but we've just used it a lot this year and have found it to be an incredibly useful tool. For a small processing fee, you can find train connections anywhere in Europe all in one place. And there are other apps out there like Trainline that operate in a similar manner. The second tip is to find the luggage racks as soon as you get on the train. Traveling with a large amount of luggage has been the most difficult part of our travels this year by far, and crowded trains have been our worst nightmare. Most trains will have luggage racks or shelves in the carriages, but they are in high demand and they fill up fast. Nothing is worse than having to lift a heavy suitcase up onto the overhead rack, only to have to take it down at the end of the trip while everyone else is trying to get out around you. The luggage racks are a lifesaver, but you have to earn your space by getting there first, and sometimes they're already full when you get on the train, depending of course on how many stops the train made before it got to you. The last tip that we have learned the hard way this year is to always consider reserving your seats, even if it's an extra charge, especially when it comes to trains in Germany and Austria. For whatever reason, the German train service Deutsche Bahn and the Austrian train service OBB love to overbook their trains. Yep, you heard that correctly. They sell more tickets than there are seats on the train. When we were in Germany, we had 2 nightmare train rides in the month of April in 2022. One was from Koblenz to Mainz, Germany, where a horde of bike riders invaded our train car and took up all of the available space with their bikes. Not only did I not have a seat, I had nowhere to put our luggage and had to weave my way through the maze of bikes to lift our heavy suitcases onto the overhead rack. It also didn't help that the Mainz soccer team had a game that day, because any breathing room the train had was quickly filled up by rowdy lads with their jerseys and scarves heading to the stadium. I still have absolutely no idea how we made it out of there alive with all of our suitcases, but it was a horrible experience. Then, a few days later, after we pretty much assumed nothing could ever be worse than that train ride, we had another brutal train ride from Mainz to Heidelberg, where we had to stand the entire time in the corridor between 2 of the train cars, while holding onto our luggage for dear life. Any hope we had of having a seat for that hour-long train ride vanished as soon as we saw the train pull in, already packed to the brim. The ride was bumpy, loud, and borderline claustrophobic, as the conductors continued to pass through, having to squeeze past us and 3 other passengers with us in the corridor. There were also passengers trying to get to the bathroom that basically had to climb over our luggage to get there, and then climb back out once they were done. After it was finally over, we kind of just laughed about the absurdity of the experience, but it was definitely something we wouldn't want to repeat. Thank goodness it was only an hour-long ride. In both of these instances, we definitely regretted not reserving seats, even if it's an extra cost. I mean, who knows if we actually could have managed to sit down and then find a place to store our luggage at that point, but it still would have been nice to be able to try. I will never understand the logic of packing these trains like this, but it's something to be aware of, especially if you're traveling on a weekend or a holiday. Overall, we have had very pleasant experiences traveling by train through Europe. It is so fun to be able to take in the scenery of the countryside while traveling to the next destination. While Austria, Italy, and Germany had incredibly scenic routes for us, absolutely nothing will top our train rides in Switzerland, where we literally couldn't stop staring out of the window at the jaw-dropping scenery. In Switzerland, the train rides are attractions in themselves, as they traverse some of the most beautiful landscapes in the world. We have really enjoyed getting around by train this year and would highly recommend it to anyone coming to Europe, especially for an extended stay. Just make sure to keep these tips in mind so you can avoid all of the headaches and hurdles and just enjoy hopping around this amazing continent.
If you're new to this channel, welcome. We are Max and Sid. At the beginning of this year, we made a life-altering decision to try out full-time travel and document our experiences here on YouTube. We had to put our normal lives on hold and deploy all our resources in order to make it happen. As scary and daunting as it was at first, we felt confident that it was the right decision and the right time for it. We have always had a fierce desire to see other parts of the world, and we didn't want to wait 40 plus years to make our dreams a reality. There are no guarantees in life, and a lot of times, we can get way too caught up thinking about the future instead of making the most of the present. We are now 6 months into this new lifestyle. We still have a long way to go to achieve our goals, but we have been enjoying every single step of the journey. So far, we've spent a month living in East London, a month exploring Romania, and a few months hopping all over Central Europe, from Bulgaria to Croatia to Hungary to Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. Please feel free to check out the rest of our channel if you're interested in travel and vlog style content. We show you around the countries that we visit with a mix of historical facts, food recommendations, travel tips, and just capturing the scenery. Likes and subscribers go a long way towards helping us sustain our adventure, and we can't express how grateful we are for all who have supported us thus far. We are looking forward to the next 6 months, and we hope you follow along.
Testing, 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 testing audio, testing audio, testing audio, testing audio, testing audio. About this area, it's pretty much anywhere you're gonna go, you're gonna have a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants. It seems like this is definitely like the main area where people hang out. There's also some bars and restaurants around the beach, but for the most part, you're gonna be looking at Las Olas Boulevard for most of the fine dining and, you know, just more food-oriented places. Makes it easier. Hey. I think it looks really good.
I don't know if it's COVID or what, but it's not like overcrowded, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm rolling, yeah.